Hi, this is Jen from Thread Honey, and today I'm going to show you how to stitch the Cosmic Snake clothing embroidery pattern. This pattern is available on my site as a PDF download, as well as a stick and stitch embroidery kit and a full embroidery kit. I'm going to start by transferring my pattern onto my clothing item. This is using the stick and stitch transfer available on my site. Because this transfer is sticky, I can pull it up and reposition it as I need to, but you'll find that if you reposition it too many times, it'll start to lose its adhesive quality. To prepare for stitching, I'm going to thread my needle using all 6 strands of my DMC number 310 embroidery floss. Sometimes it's easier to get it through the eye if you lick it first. After it's threaded through, I'll tie a knot at one end. I'm not going to tie the 2 ends together. Now I'm ready to stitch. With the pattern now in place, I'm going to place my hoop around the pattern and start stitching. Using all 6 strands of my DMC number 310 embroidery floss, I'm going to first outline the moon shapes using the backstitch method. Create a small stitch. Then, from the back of the fabric, I'm going to go a stitch length distance, pull the needle from the back to the front, and now with my needle in the front, I'll go to the end of my previous stitch and pull all the way through. This will create a continuous line without any gaps. Again, from the back, I'm going a stitch length distance, taking my needle back to the end of my previous stitch and pulling through. This is the back stitch. I have a more detailed back stitch video below, which I'll link to. I'll continue using the back stitch as I outline the entire moon. After I have my moon outlined, I'm going to fill in the moon using the long and short stitch method. This is a fill stitch that you don't have to be too careful with. Essentially what you're doing is creating small stitches following the contours of your moon shape until the entire moon is filled. You want to kind of alternate the lengths of your stitches. So it's called the long and short stitch because some stitches will be slightly longer and some will be slightly shorter. You can see just there that I kind of got a knot in my embroidery floss, so I used my needle to take it out right away. Anytime you're embroidering, if you notice a mistake, you want to fix it as quickly as you can because once you've moved on from that stitch, it's virtually impossible to go back and fix it. I'll continue using this long and short stitch method as I fill in the entire moon shape. Moving on to the stars, I'm going to complete these using the star stitch, which is slang for the Algerian eye stitch. Typically with the star stitch, I would just be pulling from the star points into the center of the star. For these stars, I'm going to pull the needle in from the star point and then also at the interior point of the stars, going through center each time. I'll alternate as I pull from star point to center, then interior point to center, moving clockwise around the star. I'm using all 6 strands of my DMC number 310 embroidery floss to create these stars. These are the techniques that I'll use to create all of the star and moon shapes on our pattern. Using all 6 strands of my DMC number 310 embroidery floss, I'll outline the tongue with the back stitch and then fill it in using the long and short stitch. To outline the snake, I'll use all 6 strands of my DMC number 781 embroidery floss using the backstitch method. With the snake now outlined, I'll fill it in using the seed stitch method, again using all 6 strands of my DMC number 781 embroidery floss. You'll create the seed stitch by making small stitches at various directions. So I would recommend around 1/8 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch. As you create your small stitches, you'll start to overlap them so that it fills in the entire background of your snake shape. The seed stitch is really forgiving, so as long as you're filling up the area, you don't have to worry too much about it looking perfect. As you overlap your seed stitches, if you want to conserve thread, it's a good idea to kind of work in the same area, filling in the entire area before moving on. If you're jumping around the shape too much, you'll just burn through your thread faster. I have my hoop here at the bottom of my snake. I'm going to work on this entire area before repositioning my hoop. You can feel free to place your hoop over stitches you've already made. They'll be strong enough to withstand the hoop, so don't worry about that. This is what your snake will look like after you've completed your stitching, but before you've rinsed out the water-soluble transfer. To remove your water-soluble stabilizer, I would recommend taking your entire piece to the sink and running it under some warm water. To remove the stabilizer, you can use your hand or an old toothbrush to gently brush away any of the stubborn bits. This is what the pattern will look like after it's dried. I hope you found this video helpful. You can shop my website, thethreadhoney.com, for more embroidery patterns, supplies, and tutorials.